recently enjoyed a visit to Okefenokee National Wildlife Refuge, which is located in Folkston, Georgia. Covering 630 square miles in southeast Georgia, the Okefenokee National Wildlife Refuge encompasses 90% of the world-renowned Okefenokee Swamp. Alligators bask in the sun while flocks of white ibis, wood storks, and sandhill cranes forage in the shallow tea-colored water. The land of the trembling earth, as the Native Americans called it, is an ever-changing landscape.
Yes. It's cute. I'm not poisonous.
The Okefenokee has the distinction of birthing two rivers. The St. Mary's River flows east to the Atlantic Ocean, forming the Georgia-Florida border, while the Suwannee River flows southwest through Florida into the Gulf of Mexico. After you enjoy this video, if you wouldn't mind liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing to my channel, and hitting that bell button, I'd appreciate it. Your support means so much to me. Nearly 354,000 acres of the refuge are designated as a national wilderness area. Okefenokee is a vast bog inside a huge saucer-shaped depression that was once part of the ocean floor. The swamp, which extends 38 miles north to south and 25 miles east to west, remains one of the most well-preserved and intact freshwater ecosystems in the world. The refuge carries the designation of a wetland of international importance and is on the U.S. tentative list for World Heritage Sites.
Wild boars.
Fire has shaped the Okefenokee landscape for thousands of years. Naturally occurring wildfires maintain the swamp's diversity of habitats.
I was gonna say I was too big for it. Man.
What is it? What is it?
That's what it's like to stand out
On the peak. On the peak. Yeah. So look, it's like floating. Yeah, floating island. Native Americans call places like this Okie,
Charlie,
land of the trembling earth.
Charlie, you don't need to jump on it. It's a squishy experience. I did end up purchasing these monarch butterfly earrings. I was really enamored by them. I have loved monarch butterflies since I was a child, and I was very intrigued by the fact that these earrings were all made from recycled cereal boxes. We were very fortunate to have a boat operator who has some family ties to the swamp and is very passionate about the history. He ends up sharing a lot of details and facts with us along the ride, and I hope that you enjoy hearing them firsthand from him.
First of all, the word Okefenokee. It's an old Indian word. Translated means land of the trembling earth. The Okefenokee Swamp here is the largest inland freshwater swamp in North America. It's just a little bit smaller than the state of Rhode Island. It comes legally depending on rainwater. There's nothing that flows in here, but two rivers flow out of here. Did y'all ever hear of St. Mary's River? St. Mary's takes about over up to 10% of this water. Did you ever hear of the Swanee River? Swanee takes the other 90% of the water that flows out. In fact, some of you may have heard the old song, Way Down on Swanee River. Well, right now you're way up on Swanee River. And this is Swanee Canal here on the east side of the swamp. This is a man-made, well, canal by definition is man-made. Anyway, back in 1891, the Swanee Canal Company started digging these ditches with the intentions of draining the water right off the Okefenokee Swamp right down St. Mary's River. And then they were going to sell the peat, sell the timber, and sell the land up for development. This is color from tannic acid. Okay, and vegetation on bottom. Leaves and peat, it's basically the same deal as like when you're making tea with tea leaves. Same basic deal. As a matter of fact, the old Indians said that that water's got healing power. Now, y'all got much confidence in them old Indians? I'm going to tell you the truth, they were a lot sharper than what most folks give them credit for being. They were very observant people, they had to be. The fact is, the acid level in this water is high enough that if you had a cut on your finger, you could dip it in there
It's
and
not
it
for
would actually
drinking.
disinfect that wound.
I'm going to get them.
But
Just
now
you give it
might
back
come up
to,
with a whole new one.
Give it back to Joey, our boat driver.
I tell folks all the time, this water is 99% pure. The other 1%, Gatorade. All right, y'all, it's going to be a 5-mile round trip. It's going to take us all over an hour and a half to do it. And I can show and tell you all sorts of things about this swamp as we go along. But the fact is, from here on, I'm mostly going to drive and let y'all ask questions here today. So don't be shy. If you have any questions, if you don't say, I don't know. Is that very nice? All right, one other thing before we get started out here, let me just remind y'all that this ain't Disneyland. Now, do y'all realize that this is not even a park? Not a park at all. Parks are for people. And out here, it's not about the people. It's all about the animals. It's a national wildlife refuge ran by U.S. Fish and Wildlife, not ran by the Park Service. And that means we don't have any animals here on display in pens and cages. They're all living free in their own natural environment. But I can't really promise you what you may or may not see along this trip today. Any number of things is possible. The only thing I can promise y'all is that I don't have any remote controls in the pocket. And ain't no inflated alligator gonna jump up by the boat. So whatever you see is alive and real. And now also, I'm not a federal employee. I'm just a private guy here working for Okefenokee Adventures. I'm just a fellow that's trying my best to make a living doing something that's important to me. This whole swamp is very important to me. Started off in Charleston County. Now you're in Ware County.
Those are some good eyes, Colin.
Look at he's a cute gator.
A cute
Cute. Wait, is that the one you saw, like the size of the one you saw earlier?
Yeah, it's about the same size.
Alligators are so cute. But they're
Yeah.
not that friendly, just so you know.
Well, I think if you leave them alone, they're not gonna bother you.
Alligators are so cute. They're going away. They're going away. See a couple of the 10 to 13,000 gators that are estimated to be living in the Okefenokee Swamp. At one time, the Coastal Ecology Lab in Okefenokee Swamp tagged an 11-foot, 5-inch long alligator that weighed more than 400 pounds. They nicknamed him Oak Joe, which was short for Okefenokee Joe. He does seem like a bigger one. No, he's back. Oh. No. Oh. As you've come to realize, Okefenokee Swamp is home to alligators and not crocodiles. I'm going to mention a couple of differences between the two. Alligators are generally smaller than crocodiles, at a length of 8.2 feet to 11.2 feet and a weight of 400 to 800 pounds, whereas crocodiles range from 10 to 20 feet and are 300 to 2,000 pounds.
Right there. See his head sticking up?
Yeah, I see him. So cute. The alligators are so cute, but they're not that. What are you doing, Colin? If I found an alligator in my backyard, I'd probably snuggle with it.
Their snouts are also quite different. An alligator has a U-shaped snout, while a crocodile has a V-shaped snout. Alligators have webbed feet, which allow for better swimming, whereas crocodiles' feet are not webbed, but possess a jagged fringe.
Colin, let me see the back of your shirt.
Sweaty boy. Wait, Mama, is mine
Poor
wet?
buddy. Yeah, you're a little sweaty too.
I am really sweaty.
That life jacket was cooking you, Colin.
Alligators have roughly 80 teeth, while crocodiles have 66 teeth. Alligators are typically dark gray or black with a cream underside, and crocodiles are olive green or light brown with a mottled pattern. And the last main difference that I'm going to point out in this video is related to their jaw. Alligators have a wide upper jaw that hides the lower teeth and overlaps the lower jaw, while crocodiles have upper and lower jaws that are roughly the same size, allowing the teeth to interdigitate. The trees that you see here are the longleaf pine. It is a slow-growing tree that once covered more than 90 million acres in the southeastern United States. Only 3% of these pine forests remain, and they are some of the most diverse and ecologically important habitats for several endangered species. You can observe longleaf pine communities and ongoing longleaf pine restoration projects along the Swamp Island Drive and along Highway 177 to Stephen C. Foster State Park. See his little head? See that little baby gator? I just stepped down here trying to get closer to the baby gator, and there's a big gator, possibly the mama. There's the baby.
Oh my god, it's under, it's coming closer. Mama's coming.
Oh.
It's coming a lot closer.
There's my feet. There's the gator. What?
I'm gonna die if the thing bites me.
I don't know if this is smart, but it's really
You guys
cool.
get on the other side of the fence. I was gonna plow you over if she.
Mama, 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 mama.
Did it just hiss at you?
Mama.
No.
It just did something at you.
No, it did not.
Yes, it
Definitely
No, it did not.
did something.
Turtle behind it. He
Right.
just hissed at you.
He didn't hiss at me.
It let air out of its something.
It has to breathe.
That's not a very big gator.
It would still hurt if it bit you.
Yeah, I don't want to get bit by
Fallen.
it, so. Nature is amazing. We've spied another baby. So there's a baby, there's the bigger one, and then there's the second baby. Oh no, they did not just touch noses. That was adorable.
I think they did just.
They did, and that was so cute. Look at them swim.
Is that them making noise?
I think so. They kind of sound like a little frog. The Chesser Island Homestead is located at the main entrance to the refuge.
Let's make them run through this house.
Chessers were a rugged family.
Named for the family who first settled it, Chesser Island is a 592-acre island in the swamp. The Chesser Island Homestead, located there, shows how the early settlers lived. In the mid-1800s, W.T. Chesser and his family settled a small island on the eastern edge of the Okefenokee Swamp. The Chessers were a rugged family carving out a life in the often harsh conditions of the area. Their story is typical of many early settlers. They lived simply, played hard, and worked even harder. W.T. Chesser had 7 children. 2 of the younger sons, Robert and Sam, settled near their parents in the swamp. Robert married Lizzie and had 13 children. His brother, Sam, married Sarah and raised 9 children. The youngest son of Sam and Sarah, Tom, married Iva, and together they built the present homestead in 1927. The W.T. Chesser homestead was located south of the current Chesser homestead. The house was built by Tom Chesser and a hired carpenter who provided his own tractor-operated sawmill. They built the house from yellow pine and cypress in 21 days. Tom paid the carpenter $150 for his work. The house consisted of 3 bedrooms, a parlor, and a front porch. The kitchen from Sam and Sarah's old log home was used for many years. Later, to accommodate additional children, they added 2 bedrooms, a kitchen, and a back porch. The outbuildings include a smokehouse, syrup shed, chicken coop, corn crib, and a hog pen.
The white sand yard is common in this area as it was once the ocean floor. The sand yards acted as a fire break to protect the home from wildfires common in the area. The Chessers made and used cypress log wells as their water source. Cypress, because of its durability, was used liberally by swampers in construction projects. Its use in a well was imperative since the wood is continuously wet. Without the hollow log, freshly dug wells were apt to immediately cave in and refill with the sandy soil that is so common next to the swamp. This shed could have contained dried beans, peas, apples, figs, peaches, or huckleberries. The floor may have been covered with red potatoes. Onions and dried peppers may have hung from the ceiling. By the end of the growing season, this shed would have contained enough food to last until the next spring. Here at the syrup shed, evaporating the water and concentrating the sugar content of the cane juice was and still is the method of making sugar cane syrup. The 60-gallon boiler in this shed was filled with raw sugar cane juice, and a roaring fire of fat, lighter pine was built beneath the boiler. The juice was boiled and continually strained, skimmed, and clarified for 3 or 4 hours, and finally yielded 5 or 6 gallons of finished syrup. In some cases, the early settlers made their own sugar from the cane juice. To do this, the juice had to be boiled longer to further concentrate the sugar. Electricity was not brought to the island while the Chessers lived there, but they did have some more modern amenities. In the 1940s, they purchased a propane refrigerator, similar to the one in the home today. Iva also had a gasoline washing machine, which was much better than the old-fashioned scrub boards and battling sticks. They also had the luxury of a battery-operated radio to listen to radio programs in the evenings. The refuge installed a telephone in the home to maintain contact with Tom, a refuge employee, in case of wildfires. Corn was the principal cultivated crop of the early swamp settlers. After the corn had dried on the stalks in the fall, it was gathered and heaped into the corn crib. As it was needed, the corn was removed from the crib, husked, and then shelled using a hand-cranked sheller. The shelled corn was used to feed livestock and for family meals such as grits and cornmeal. Chesser Island Boardwalk is a 3/4-mile elevated boardwalk ending at an observation tower overlooking the Okefenokee wilderness. And just so you're aware, due to the presence of alligators, pets are not permitted on this trail.
It's too bad that it's dead, but wow.
Pretty good for being dead.
It's quite the creature.
At the end of the boardwalk is the 40-foot tall Owls Roost Tower, where in addition to the Okefenokee wilderness, you can also get vast views of Seagrove Lake and prairies.